Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's North West Tonight with Roger Johnson. Thank you for your company. Our top story. Kendal comes out for Poppy. A funeral for the 10-year-old who died after being hit by a car at football practice. Hundreds of people line the streets to pay their respects. We'll have the story. Also tonight, you'll never walk alone. We reunite Liverpool fan Tim with the supporters who saved his life after he had a heart attack at Anfield. Pushing back against dementia, the St Helens pub changing its name to help those living with the condition. Inching Mac back towards the Football League, perhaps. Celebrations for the Silkmen after a third promotion in 4 years.
And it's been a fine start to the new week with more warm sunshine forecast. I'll have all the details with a live look at the weather at the end of the programme.
Poppy Atkinson dreamed of playing for Manchester United. The 10-year-old died when a car went onto the pitch during her football practice in Kendal earlier this month. Well, today, hundreds of people came out to pay their respects at her funeral, as Phil Chapman reports.
A community came together to pay their respects to Poppy Atkinson here in Kendal today, many of them wearing red to reflect her support for Manchester United, who she dreamed of playing for one day. Her family have described her as a force of nature whose passion for football was infectious. Before Poppy's cortege arrived at Kendal Parish Church, people lined the streets and applauded as she went by.
This is in respect for Poppy, bless her little heart, and for all the family and the football team. It's really touched the town and we've got to wear red for her, haven't we?
I just think it's an honour to be able to show your respects to the family and also to Poppy.
My son's team played the week before. She was very good at football. She stood out well, I know that. But yeah, it was amazing. To come here, everyone's got a little tear in their eye, so...
She meant so much to everybody, so sad and so young. It's heartbreaking, it is.
Joining mourners at the church today were members of staff from Poppy's school, Old Hutton Church of England Primary. Her head teacher spoke earlier this month.
Poppy was a much-loved member of Old Hutton Church of England Primary School and was someone who brought joy, light and happiness to all she did. She was a bundle of energy and was also a fantastic footballer. Our prayers will remain with Poppy's family, and as a school community we will do all we can to support them.
Meanwhile, the wider community has also been supporting Poppy's family with her GoFundMe page at nearly £50,000 to go towards grassroots football and a memorial. A family statement on the fundraising site ends, "Together we honour a girl whose light will never fade." Phil Chapman, BBC North West Tonight, Kendal.
The funeral today of Poppy Atkinson. Our thoughts, of course, with her and all of her family. Right, let's take a look at some of the other stories making headlines in the North West tonight. And drones and specially trained dogs are being used in a major search for an 80-year-old man who's gone missing at one of his regular walking spots in Lancashire. Brian Fletcher drove from his home in Bury on Saturday afternoon but hasn't been seen since parking his car in the village of Tockholes. Barriers at the exits to Manchester Airport's pick-up and drop-off zones are being removed next week to reduce congestion. Rather than stopping, drivers will have to remember to pay the charge online or by phone before midnight the next day. The biggest 5 parties have now named their candidates for the Runcorn and Helsby by-election. Reform UK today announced former Cheshire East councillor Sarah Pochin. She joins the Greens' Chris Copeman, Liberal Democrat Paul Duffy, Sean Houlston for the Conservatives and Labour's Karen Shaw. And former colleagues of the broadcaster Andy Peebles have paid tribute to him following his death in Blackburn at the weekend, aged 76. Andy found fame on Radio 1, but started out at Radio Manchester and also worked at Piccadilly Radio and BBC Radio Lancashire. Now, Liverpool fans, as you know, sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." Well, Tim Easton, that's him in the middle, knows that that is true because 2 months ago, driving away from Anfield, he had a cardiac arrest and crashed. Tony and Phil Casey saw what happened and gave Tim CPR. They saved his life. And now he has returned to Anfield to meet them and say thank you. And Kelly Foran was there.
I'm Tim Easton, I'm 68 and I came to my first game in 1962.
Tim never misses a game. But driving away from Anfield in January, he crashed into a wall, suffering a cardiac arrest at the wheel. Walking away from that game were the Casey family, who immediately stopped to help. Tim was in a coma for almost a week, but is now back.
Mate.
How are we, Tim?
How you doing?
All right.
Yeah.
And so are the people who saved his life.
Doing all right. Well, thanks to you,
great.
mate.
You look great, mate.
As soon as I hugged Paul and Tony, it just felt like I'd come home and met a friend, you know, it was brilliant.
Everybody's in a rush to get somewhere. We stopped for 5-10 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and helped him, and he's here today, and had we not have stopped, it would have been a totally different story.
Whilst in hospital, his friends at the club, and his heroes too, sent him well wishes.
I know that you're having an incredibly tough time, mate, but yeah, I'm just obviously sending you all my love, mate, and I know that you can hear me, and obviously all your family. Absolutely love you loads, and we as Liverpool fans all love you loads, mate.
Tim, we need you back at the game. Arnold is doing so well. He needs all the support he can get, and your support is vital, mate.
But these guys are his new heroes, and now friends too. What do you think about just the pure kindness of total strangers?
Well, for me, it just encapsulated, and you'd say I would say this, but for me, I sing You'll Never Walk Alone before every game, and I sing my heart out. It just really brought home that I didn't walk alone, and it underpinned everything this club's all about. It really did. As I say, I will continue to cry my eyes out singing that song for years to come, hopefully, thanks to you guys.
The doctors said their fast actions, without doubt, saved him, something they're still coming to terms with.
Kath and I had this conversation recently. You know, we were laughing about something in the kitchen, and she was saying, and she teared up, and she said, I might not have been able to do this if it hadn't been for the Casey family in Liverpool that day.
Scousers help everyone. We don't mind. I know people give us a bad reputation, but we're there to help everyone and anyone when we can. And we won't walk
I'm
past.
living proof, aren't I? Yeah,
Tim's here to prove it.
Yeah.
And there's lots for them all to catch up on.
Well, hopefully, like you say, you've got many more years to come.
Well, we have.
Back on the
and I still owe you a pint as well.
I know we haven't forgot, so don't worry.
Kelly Foran, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Well done, Tony and Phil, with Tim Easton, their lovely story. Now, for years, they have talked about Greater Manchester having a London-style transport system. We've talked about it countless times on this programme, haven't we? Well, it finally went live across the bus and tram network at the weekend, and now passengers can tap their payment card and take as many journeys as needed, and the computer will hopefully automatically charge the cheapest fare. Bosses hope, unsurprisingly, that it will encourage people to leave their cars at home, as Matt Trewern reports.
Tap and Go, a simple name for a system that it's hoped will transform the use of public transport in Greater Manchester.
This is a huge moment for the B network. We've been on a journey for many years to go from the old deregulated, fragmented transport system we had to this new integrated, easy to use, tap in, tap out system over buses and trams. I'm a very proud mayor today.
So how does it work? Well, there's no change on the trams. You can continue to tap in and then tap out when you've finished your journey, knowing you'll be charged the cheapest fare. But the real difference is here on the buses, because for the first time you can now tap in with your contactless card or with your phone, or if you're more technologically minded than I am, even with your smartwatch. But just remember that on the bus, unlike the tram, you don't tap out when you leave.
This is about making it easier for people to choose public transport, and that seamless integration between tram and bus to really make sure that people can get out across Greater Manchester wherever they need to go. And again, it's that safe in the knowledge that they're never going to pay more.
Now, don't worry if you still want to pay by cash, because you can buy a ticket from the bus driver or at a tram ticket machine. But the long-term success of the B network depends on getting more of us out of our cars and onto public transport.
Yeah, it would definitely make me want to use public transport more. It's just easier. You don't have to think about planning your route or what's going to be the cheapest route or anything like that.
Yeah, you're clocking in at one point and you're getting off, and then that tells you your total cost and deducts from your bank. It's a clever system.
It is a lot more useful to be able to do that, more so than have to try and fiddle around in your bag trying to find cash, which I've done before.
What would encourage people into public transport is reliability and affordable prices. Now that, I think, would encourage people.
First trams, now buses, and it's hoped the integrated tap and go system will soon include some train services coming into Manchester. Matt Trewern, BBC North West Tonight. Now, 12,000 people pounded the streets of Liverpool yesterday in the city's annual half marathon. Hundreds of them were running for one very special cause. They were supporting the fundraising in the memory of Elsie Stankham, of course, one of the 3 girls murdered in Southport last summer. Jessica Lane has been speaking to Elsie's mum and dad.
She smiled to make other people smile.
Elsie would have been round everyone, wouldn't she? She'd have been like, good luck, good luck.
Absolutely.
She just wanted the best for everybody.
You're going to smash it?
Yeah.
Day?
I'm going to smash it. I love you.
In Elsie's memory, with ribbons in their hair and glitter on their faces, 240 people ran the Liverpool Half Marathon, raising awareness of the charity set up by Elsie's parents.
She always wanted to give, whether it be someone busking in the street, whether it was raising for our local hospice herself. So, she just would never let anybody go without. And I just think if we've got an opportunity to raise money and give back to other children in Elsie's name and continue her legacy, that's a gift for us to do.
Elsie's dad David has been training with friends and family. It's helped him get through the last few months.
All the training runs that I've done for this is like pretty much the routes that I've done with Elsie, and yeah.
What's that like?
Do you know what? It's just something I've got to do.
For people in Southport and across Merseyside, this race has given them a focus, an opportunity to come together for the 3 little girls they lost, Bibi, Elsie and Alice.
It's Elsie, it's pushing us, so she's pushing us out of our comfort zone. Yeah. She's making us do things that I'd never do this. I couldn't even run to the end of the road back in October, and here I am, here in Liverpool running for Els, so yeah.
What would she have said to you today? Alice's dad, Sergio, has already raised more than his target of £250,000 for a new playground at Churchtown Primary, where both Alice and Bibi had been pupils. What would Alice have been thinking today, do you think, seeing you doing that distance?
She's going to be happy, and she's going to wait in the final line for Simi to finish the final line.
Children and parents in Southport say they're still affected by the attacks last year, scared and grieving. But Elsie's family and friends say her charity will help them all to heal.
We want to turn heartbreak into hope, and that generation of children that have been impacted, if we of Elsie's family can help and show them that we're not frightened, that actually we're not going to let evil win this, then we hope that in time that those children will enjoy fun and not live in fear again.
Oh, well done to everybody who took part in the marathon, but particularly well done, of course, to all of them that you heard from in that report. Now, the National Farmers Union is asking for tougher measures to deter sheep worrying, something which apparently has got worse since lockdown. Farmers across the region have reported losing ewes and their unborn lambs after being chased by dogs. And they want police to have greater powers to prosecute owners whose dogs run free. As our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson, now explains.
Lambing season has already begun on this farm in Cheshire.
Farmer Nigel Potts has a flock of 400 breeding ewes.
How many lambs are you expecting this year?
We're hoping somewhere between 750 and 800, hence the bags under the eyes.
Despite the notices, many farmers here have issues with some dog walkers who let their dogs off the lead, and the results can be devastating.
About a month ago, we had five ewes killed by a dog. The ewes were all in lamb. That was bad enough on its own, but the other issue is the dog ran the rest of the sheep. So until those ewes lamb, we don't know how much damage has actually been done. Whether, you know, some of the ewes will lose the lambs because of the stress of being chased by dogs.
In this case, there were witnesses, and so the dog walker was identified and reported to the police.
It's becoming more and more regular. I think pretty much everybody has had issue with a dog or dogs at varying time this last 18 months.
Losing sheep and lambs will cost the farm thousands of pounds, but that's not the only concern.
It's the emotion of it all as well, you know, that you think you do your best for your animals, and within a split second somebody's dog can ruin a season's work. It's just irresponsible.
The National Farmers Union would like the police to have more powers to prosecute those who let their dogs run free.
The white-faced ones are Texel crosses. The black and white one here making all the noise, she's a pedigree Dutch Spot. As all farmers, we put everything into our stock, whether it's cattle, sheep, whatever, and for somebody to be able to come along with a dog and cause the damage that they do, it's just heartbreaking.
Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight in Over Alderley.
Lots of blue skies like that today, weren't there? We'll get the weather forecast from Abby in just a moment. We've had an email this evening from Bill. He says, too much Manchester and Liverpool talking about football, even when they're not playing. There are other divisions. The Premier League should take a back seat every now and then. Ian, no Premier League at the weekend. Are you talking about the Premier League tonight?
I'm not talking about the Premier League.
Well, Bill will be pleased.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Hope he's watching now and eats his words on that one.
He's entitled to a view, as
he
everyone
is. No offence, Bill.
Yeah.
But Bill, if you are watching, we're lucky now. We did film inside Stockport County's training ground on Friday ahead of their big League One match against Wrexham, where it turned out a controversial decision would have a decisive impact on the outcome. Elsewhere, Blackpool's playoff prospects have improved, but Morecambe's League Two status appears increasingly perilous.
We weren't good enough to score and didn't create much opportunities, but to cost us a point is down to a really, really poor decision in my eyes.
Elsewhere, a win for Blackpool at Northampton increases their outside chance of a playoff place. Ashley Fletcher's 5th goal in 8 games set them on their way.
We've got some big games coming up, yeah, absolutely. So we're not going to give up on it. Yep. Got a big game next week against our local rivals, Bolton, so look forward to that.
In League Two, Crewe ended the weekend out of the playoff positions after a 0-0 draw at Notts County. Comeback of the day came at AFC Wimbledon, where Barrow were 2-0 down after 88 minutes, but ended up with a draw, Conor Mahoney equalising deep into injury time. Meanwhile, Accrington are surely safe after earning a credible point in a 0-0 draw at Swindon. It was also 0-0 between Fleetwood Town and Tranmere, which means Tranmere are now 7 points clear of the relegation zone, and that is very bad for next to bottom Morecambe, who lost at Port Vale. Well, Macclesfield FC this weekend became the first side in the country's football pyramid to be promoted. The club, managed by ex-Blackburn and Crewe midfielder and pundit Robbie Savage, beat Bamber Bridge 2-1 to win the Northern Premier League Premier Division title with 6 games to spare. So, from next season, they'll play in the National League North. Savage and owner Rob Smethurst helped relaunch a new club after Macclesfield Town FC was wound up back in 2020.
It was the greatest moment of my footballing career to lead a club to promotion in my first season with that nearly 5,000 fan base behind you, to see the emotion in generations of families. These families lost their football club 4 years ago, and without Rob Smethurst and his vision and his dedication and the desire of us all, this wouldn't have happened. So 3 promotions in 4 years, National League North next season is a great achievement. You know, when I was director of football, a lot of people would be saying, listen, can he do it himself? He thinks he's got all the answers. Will he put his money where his mouth is? You know, I did that. I said judge us on results, and you know, a lot of people will be eating their words now, so it just makes me really satisfied.
On to Super League now, and a second defeat in a week for Wigan, who previously were knocked out of the Challenge Cup. The reigning champions lost 12 points to 10 at Leeds Rhinos on Saturday as their mini-blip continues. And it was also a bad day for Lee Leopards yesterday as they lost 30-0 at Hull KR. Lee will now host Wakefield on Friday. Stockport's Nathan Aspinall here is arguably the most charismatic figure in darts right now, but until last night hadn't won a European Tour title. He has, though, now after beating Ryan Joyce 8-4 in the European Darts Trophy final in Germany. Alongside the glory of winning, of course, the Asp is now £30,000 better off.
Now, this week, the BBC is looking at the issue of dementia. It's very personal for BBC Radio Merseyside presenter Tony Snell. His mum, Eileen, died last month, and now Tony has been to St Helens to see the positive impact that a dementia-friendly pub is making. Anna Jameson went with him.
It may look like a Friday night, but every Friday morning, the Gerard Arms in St Helens is transformed into the Loving Arms.
To have something like this in a pub in the morning time, I mean, I would be walking past thinking, what's going on in there? I'd just have to go in.
Last month, broadcaster Tony Snell lost his mother Eileen, who died with vascular dementia.
It's been difficult. It's been a relief as well because we knew it was coming, but what a journey of highs, lows, sadness, frustration, anger, but laughter. No, we didn't get a manual because I don't think there is one, but we kind of did it together and we got through it together.
And that's the idea here, to build a community with others who understand.
As soon as you walk in, dementia, it just goes out the window. It's just like each person is valued and loved so much. And we sing, don't we? We do bingo and quizzes. And we just chat over a cup of tea about everything and anything. Right, Ryan?
No, or I don't dance. I sing to myself here. Don't want to hear my voice, do they?
Around 1 in 4 people in the UK support others living with dementia.
My husband has just gone into a care home 3 weeks ago. We've been coming here for a couple of years now, and it's just absolutely amazing. We've made so many wonderful friends, you know, and even though he's gone in, I still come because you can give advice or, you know, help other people.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I've got Bertie.
And it's great, you know, and because all of us have got the same, or half of it, or some of it, so they all understand each other.
Do you count down the days for Friday?
Not particularly, I forget what day it is.
Did Eileen come to these sessions?
No, she never, because I think she was in denial to a certain degree. For that generation, I think there was a certain amount of shame attached to it. Oh, don't tell anybody. She wouldn't even mention the word Alzheimer's or dementia. She used to forget things and she'd say, oh, I think I'm getting a touch of the other, and she'd do this. So it was a fear of the name, a fear of the condition, but a session like this really would have been a massive benefit to my mum.
The Loving Arms is open every Friday morning. Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in St Helens.
A lot of smiles, a lot of happiness. Thanks to Tony for talking about his mum Eileen and to everybody else who chatted there to Anna. Right, let's have a look at the weather. Glorious blue skies today. Abby is here, and there's going to be some excitement for people in South Cheshire a little later because a new place coming on the map.
A new place coming up on the map, all will be revealed. But for now, let's have a quick look at some Weather Watch photos. I think possibly one of the most spectacular Weather Watcher photos I've ever seen of a sunrise. So thank you to Zoe for sending this one in this morning. And then clear blue skies in Lytham. It's been a beautiful start to the week with more sunshine forecast. If you do take a weather photo, glorious or not so much, over the next few days, you can send it in to us here at North West Tonight. All the details on the screen behind me, either directly into social media, or you can become one of our BBC Weather Watchers. So the headline then for tomorrow, it is set to be a bit of a damp, drizzly start to the day, I think, tomorrow, but we will see sunshine developing, so a fine start to the week. But as we head towards the end of the week, it will turn a little bit cooler and a little bit more mixed and changeable. So we do have a ridge of high pressure keeping our weather settled at the moment. It will stay largely dry, a little bit of rain overnight tonight, but largely dry through the first half of the week, and then into the second half of the week or change. It's going to turn a little bit cooler and fresher, and we are at risk of seeing a few showers. Overnight tonight, cloud will make its way in from the northwest. 1 or 2 spots of light rain, nothing really to write home about, but all the cloud will act as a blanket and will stop our temperatures from dropping quite as low as they have been, down to around 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So a little bit of a misty, murky, potentially quite damp start to the day tomorrow, but very quickly that rain will pull away and it will turn drier, it'll turn brighter, plenty of sunshine as we head through to the afternoon, which will help bolster the temperatures. So another relatively mild day. There you go, we've got Aldlam just squished in on the map. Thank you to Pam for sending that location in. Temperatures for tomorrow around 13 or 14 degrees Celsius. And then we're still in this milder air mass at the moment. Temperatures a good 3 or 4 degrees above the seasonal average for the time of year. We could see 15 or 16 on Wednesday, but dropping back slightly towards the end of the week. And then into next week, we've got another area of high pressure. So it will be dry and settled and potentially quite mild again into next week. But this is how Wednesday's looking. A little bit of mist and fog out there first thing Wednesday morning, and then a dry day. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures as high as 15, potentially 16 degrees in 1 or 2 places. So very pleasant in the afternoon sunshine on Wednesday. Showers or a bit of patchy rain through Thursday and Friday, freshening up with our temperatures dropping back slightly as we head towards the weekend. Rog?
Great excitement in Aldlam, right in the bottom left corner of the northwest on our map. Really.
Yes,
so,
I just managed to fit it on. But
yeah.
Thank you to Pam for sending that one in. She said everybody in Aldlam loves living in Aldlam, apparently.
It's a nice place,
yeah.
Just south of Nantwich. Right, thank you for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a great evening. Bye-bye. Yeah, it's very